Okay, what's your process after the way that game ended? Like the first couple of days, are you like how quickly do you flush it? How much are you? And obviously you watched it with Ben on Monday, that last play. But like, what's kind of your process of how you just think about a game that ended that way?
You're saying me throwing the
Yeah, the last two.
yeah. There's not another moment, another player, another situation. In those moments, I feel like the ball should be in my hand, and that's how I felt as a kid. That's how I still feel today. That's how I felt on Sunday in that moment, and so um, you know, uh, feel great. It kind of goes to the MJ quote where he missed how many game winners, and the Kobe where he took the game winner, and tried to, versus the Jazz and all of them back then. It's like you're going to take those shots, and that's the type of mindset I have, that I'll take those shots, and I'll roll with the punches if I do miss, and that's what happened, and so you move on from it, and when that moment comes up again, I think 9 times out of 10 that I'll hit, and so that's my mentality. That's how I feel about it, and just got to give Cole a better ball in that moment. But other than that, roll with the punches if it doesn't roll your way.
What do you remember of that USC Colorado game against Shador, and what do you remember about Shador in particular?
Um,
2023.
yeah. It was a good atmosphere, good game. We ended up coming out with the victory, and Shador is a hell of a player.
Your Heisman year, you guys won or lost one game all year. What do you remember about the feeling of every week kind of turned into like a playoff game? And is there anything instructive there for what you can do, or for this year and what you guys have in
Yeah,
front of you?
I think every year is a learning experience for obviously that year, but also future years for yourself as a player. And so, um, whether it's college or pro, you do learn things from those type of years. And so, just understanding that each week is its own week, understanding that you go 1-0, and the week that you're focused on, the team that you're focused on, it propels you in a very positive way to put you in position to be exactly where you want to be at the end of the year.
Faced a lot of good pass rushers this year. How does Max Crosby, Micah Parsons, all those guys prepare you for the challenge of Myles Garrett?
Yeah, obviously he's right there at the sack record, almost there at the sack record, and so going to try and make sure that he doesn't get the sack record on us and on me. But um, I think those games have prepared the offensive line, us as a game plan, and going versus those type of players, where they're just they're the S tier players, where you just gotta make sure every single snap, every single play, everything is not allowing them to wreck the game. That's something that he can do. That's something that he's done throughout his whole career. And so, we're excited for the challenge. We're excited for this week. We're excited to try and get back in the win column.
Caleb, how does he win so much at the line of scrimmage, and what are the communication points for you?
Yeah, he has a as the kids say, is a deep bag of tricks, and whether it's his euro step, his speed, his off the ball, they'll put him at the linebacker area and let him just kind of do his thing, and so he's, like I said, he has a deep bag of tricks, and it's going to be a good challenge for us as an offense, us as an offensive line, and running backs, everybody, everybody accounts for him, and everybody else in that field. So, like I said, he has a deep bag of tricks, and when somebody is well polished as he is throughout the NFL, and throughout his years in NFL, that's what makes him so. That's what makes him Myles Garrett.
Yeah, through 13 games this season, are there one or two things that you specifically want to get better at within the game?
Yeah, starting faster for myself, and then the other one would be, some of these, like I'm doing the right things, and then at the last bit of it, it's something's off, and it's either a miss or incompletion, or something just not on the same page, or so that's the area that I really want to get on the same page with the guys, and then from my side of it is doing everything right, and then you miss, and so it's just um, sharp focus, and sharpening my focus even more, and just making sure, starting fast and having that sharp focus from the beginning.
What is the key to starting fast? I mean, everybody talks about it. Is it something that you can practice?
Yeah, something you can practice, but also something I think just like I keep using these analogies and references and stuff, but it's just like, sometimes just seeing the first basket go in and getting your first completion and just kind of seeing the the pass being caught, whatever pass it is, whether it's a deep shot, a intermediate, short, whatever it is, just finding that first completion and getting into your receiver's hands or tight ends or whatever, and letting them go to work.
But as a core, talked a lot about you and Ben being a long-term partnership. What are you seeing in this first year that feels like a really good foundation for years to come? Not just what's working now, but things that you think you guys will be able to apply next year and beyond.
Yeah, I think some of the communication we have. I mean, we're with each other every single day at this point, damn near, and so it's us, our communication, open communication, us having talks about family. Us, I think it's just the bond that we're building throughout this is what will help us grow together, but also as an offense, and so that's one, and then I think just the details that this offense takes. It's going to take a little bit more than a year or so, to be able to kind of get on his level of communication, to where I can go and speak to the guys and everything's aligned between him and I, and we're basically saying the exact same thing, so that when he speaks to the guys, when I speak to guys, when the wide receiver, when the tight end coach, everybody, that it's all aligned in one, and it all makes sense when we all speak, and so I think that's a part of it, and then I think just the details for me, the details that and the discipline that he shows, and that we've been trying to harp on throughout this time here so far. So I think those are the three things I would say.
Early on in that relationship, when you were talking about goals with Ben, what were the discussions about playoffs and how to manage that mentality?
Yeah, I think the playoff mentality, the championship mentality, that's what we, that's where we want to be. That's where you want to be every year. That's you don't go into a year, whether it's your first year or 10th year, you don't go into a year not thinking about that. So that's one, and then managing those expectations, or managing actually being possibly in that position, or whatever case may be, or being in that position. That's going to take experience. That's going to take trusting in him. That's going to take us just trusting the process.
When you talk about
As a quarterback, what is the process of assessing extreme cold and then finding your groove within it, knowing what you're going to be facing this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I've played in some cold games already here, and I've played in cold games before. I believe that weather and elements don't bother me, and so just being able to get warm, get my body warm, and then go out there and deliver good balls to my guys and let them go make plays.
Thank you.
The Bears.